Hey, welcome to my gardens again. It is March 18th. Um Spring is coming, but not today. It is 34 right now in New Jersey. We had a nice warm spell, and then Monday we had a pretty violent storm come through, and tornado warnings and such. So, in one of my other videos you saw, we had these huge, well, my neighbor had these huge 70-foot pine trees that went up coming down, luckily missing everyone's house, and just damaged my compost, but fixed that. They still need to finish that. And then my neighbor on this side has to replace their fence because they have a pool, but they need to take, the fence company said they need to take all the trees out and stump grind to be able to put a new fence in. So the problem with this is, well, these are just scrub trees. The sun rises over there, so I'm going to get a lot more morning sun over here, which I have, 3 oak leaf hydrangeas there. I got one in the back. I have a couple hydrangeas that I'm not sure how well they're going to do. And then when these pine trees come out, this is all shade stuff. So Jacob's Ladder, bluebells, Solomon seal, So this is going to get a lot of sun. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this yet. And then all this, we'll see what happens. A lot of this is shade, part shade. I know my 9-bark's going to be happy now that I have back here, and some of the other stuff. But Monday, we used to have a flowering crabapple. That's what's left of it. It went up, the main section split from the storm and hit the house, no damage. And then when we're taking that part out, the back half of the tree split. So then we took the whole thing down. You can see suckers coming up from it. I'll have to chop those out, and at some point I may take that stump out. But right now, so we had all that removed. Some damage to, well, I had a rhododendron here, which is now gone. The tree guys did a number on that one, taking the trees out. So we had 2 branches from our maple tree because they were overhanging the house. So I wanted to get those out. And we were going to take that part of that branch out because it was over the crabapple. But since the crabapple's gone, I saved money and didn't take the branch out. The other thing that they just did, and this is all today, I sealed that one. It's 6-inch diameter tree of heaven. If people don't know what that is, it's one of the main host plants for the lanternflies. So I talked to my neighbor. I paid to have that taken out, and then this one was another tree having much larger, 10-inch. It actually grew in through the chain link fence, so we can't cut it down all the way. So this is as far as they could go, which is fine. I'll just keep an eye on it that it doesn't start throwing shoots. And then, clean up between all the storms, the trees, and it's come along. So I've cleaned out most of the back gardens, and working my way through between like days like today, being 30 something. It's kind of horrible to work outside. There's another branch. There's the problem with some of the storms we've had. But yeah, the candy corn spirea is starting to push out. You get, there's the beauty of this plant. It's one of my favorites. I've done a video specifically on this one. This time of year, they start pushing out these bright red leaves. And when they open up, I've had people ask me what they are. Because it's just this ball of fire. My peonies are starting to come up. There's a rabbit. I haven't started this section of the garden because I've been focused on the back with all the tree issues, and so I've been starting, cleaning out, getting rid of the leaves because I leave them all winter. Start cleaning out my iris, and my process is I start cleaning out things that bloom first to make sure that they have opportunity. Between sun and rain and such, my lilacs are coming in good. You see I cleaned out the iris, but I haven't done anything else. But yeah, just the weather's been, weird, to say the least. And, the storms and such have been causing havoc. But it's slowly getting there. So, here's a section that I've chopped down my monkey grass. And then I've the Becky daisies, which, if you look at my old video, something, either it was disease or something took my other Becky daisies. They only got about a foot tall. They were mutated blooms, and it wasn't worth trying to salvage. So I took them all out and put in new Becky daisies because I liked the Becky's in this spot. My allium's coming up. I need to clean out the front gardens. It just takes a lot of time. And all my helleborus are blooming. These are the bigger ones that I have. Usually what I do, and it's trial and error. I try different things. So a lot of my hellebora, I trim them all back this time of year. So when they start pushing up the buds, I trim all the old leaves off, and you get a lot more blooms. I've tried it that way. I've tried it not cutting them, and there's a thing to say that cutting them back does help. There's some of them more in my allium, but yeah, this part of the garden I need to get to hopefully this week. But I've been cleaning stuff out. Some of my hyacinths, my old hyacinths, every time for Easter, we get hyacinths or something in a pot, I take them out and just keep shoving them in the same spot. And it's basically my only tulips I have left. But yeah, it's getting there. It's springtime. I've been cleaning, out as much as I can. I have a couple more iris I need to put in. But yeah, this is March in New Jersey. Like I said, it was last week it was 80 degrees, and now it's 34. So we deal with what we have. But yeah, it's a lot of my hellebores are doing great this year. This is going to be a two-man project. I need to cut this back and string it back together. Some of the storms did a number on these as well. But it's getting there. I still got a lot of time before spring really hits. Some of the roses are starting to push out some leaves. Forsythia is starting to bloom. Hopefully the forsythia start doing a little bit better. That tree heaven's gone, because one of the problems is the excretion from the lanternflies. So let me find So typical forsythia, you know, the light brown main stalk, tannish, you know, shoots that come out with the buds. Under the tree of heaven, everything's black. The excretion from the lanternflies drop down and just cover everything. So you can see it's one of the reasons why I wanted to get rid of these trees, besides the fact to try to get rid of the lanternflies. So here I have early broccoli. It's imperial broccoli, and it's fairly cold hardy. So I put that in last week with the hope it wouldn't get the 30 degrees again, or stay at 30. And it was 30 yesterday too. So, but they'll do fine. And like the Becky daisies I put in are cold hardy. So here's another example of my hellebora where I didn't trim this one back. You have a lot of blooms. The plant's very healthy. And then I take ones like rows of quartz, and I trim off all the leaves, and I get, and this is a fairly new plant. I just put that one in end of last year. Same thing with this one. It's you see a lot more blooms and leaves. It just helps the plant focus on the flowering. My daffodils that I keep saying for the last 10 years I need to split up, and I just keep forgetting to do it. But it'll be interesting with all the sun now that we get with these trees gone. The lily of the valley, my hostas, my ground orchids, toad lilies, they're all shade-ish, more loving plants. Even the corbels, and this is now going to be full sun. And now, especially when my neighbor's trees come out, and now the crabapple we had was fairly large. It's going to open up more sun to this backyard. I might get grass to grow, but I'd rather have the plants. So the corbels, the red twig dogwoods will love it. Same thing with, the concern I have is, I'm not sure how the Oregon grape hollies are going to like this, but, the summer sweet, I have two. I have this one and that one. Should be okay, but yeah, the backyard, watch videos, through the season. I might not do a lot back here this year, because I was focusing on doing a lot of changes in the front, but because of Mother Nature and such. But one of the things is my grapes will do a lot better with a lot more sun. This is March in New Jersey. Guys, I still have a lot more cleanup to do, but we're getting there. Thanks for watching.